What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now. I'm Alex, and in this video, I want to talk about two different stories regarding Senua Saga Hellblade 2. The first of which is its launch map, and I gotta be real, I don't love it, mainly just because, honestly, selfishly, because I'm not gonna stay up to the required time to actually start to play this thing, but it is, I would say, just overall kind of weird. You normally don't see a layout like this, I guess kind of unique for Hellblade, but I think the majority of people will be playing this game on the 21st instead of potentially, if you stay up just a little bit, right, maybe you could play it the day before. Doesn't really seem like that's going to happen. So you can take a look at the map, and the big thing that stands out, right, I mean, again, selfishly, I'm going to focus on, like, the U.S. New York, so Eastern time, let's just say, right? 4 a.m. So 4 a.m. on May 21st. To me, that's actually 2 a.m. That's almost worse because maybe you could wake up at 4 a.m. You can't wake up at 2 a.m., right? 2 a.m. my time, 1 a.m. Pacific time, right? It shows Seattle. So just kind of strange. Like normally, and you could say, well, Alex, why is it so strange? Well, normally it's either midnight kind of across the board, or maybe it's like midnight Eastern time, which would mean 9 p.m. Pacific time, or again, that's 10 o'clock for me. I like it when games do that because, you know, I can stay up till midnight or so, can play the game for the first 2 hours, just not the greatest. So I'm going to have to be playing this game on the Tuesday. I mean, look, that's the day that the game comes out, so I'm not complaining too bad. But the other news story is kind of causing some concern. I don't know entirely how I feel about it. Maybe I'll talk myself into how I feel, you know, as this video goes, but it comes from Tom Henderson. Hellblade 2 is now in hands. I like that line. To avoid spoilers, the embargo is the worldwide launch of 1 a.m. Pacific time, 9 a.m. BST. So basically, the reviews are going to go live. And I saw a tweet about this separate from this, and I think that tweet might have been wrong. Like, I do trust Tom Henderson. So this tweet then would be the launch time. I saw a tweet before that said it comes out, the reviews come out an hour before the game launches. It looks like the reviews launch at the time the game launches. So I will say this, I don't love it. I mean, I think just in general, I don't love it. I think you'll want to give people a day or two to be able to see reviews. Now, I still stand on everything that I've always talked about with review scores. I don't look at the scores themselves. I tend to look at what people say about it, but ultimately I make the choices on my own. I go based off what I've actually seen of the game, and I've talked about Hellblade 2 quite a bit on this channel. This is a guarantee get. You know, this is not a game I'm waiting to see if it gets an 85 versus an 87. This is a game I'm just going to trust, and I'm going to get it day one. But I will say that's not amazing. Is it all that worrisome? So, like, the next part of it, right, is are they hiding something, or would they want to hide something? I would overall say no, but it coming out at the same time the game launches does have me a little worried because it's like, normally, as we've seen over the last couple of years, let's just go by, like, recency, right? Over the last little while, it has become more and more of the norm to release the reviews the day before, 2 days before, 3 days before that the game comes out. It used to be weeks, right? And when a game is held for an incredibly long period of time, right, and you don't have the review scores go live until, say, a day before, that would be looked at as they're trying to hide something. That was, like, I would say that was the old way of doing it. But, and I've told this story, you know, time and time again, but I really think it's a great example. A Plague Tale Requiem, that was my game of the year, the year that it came out. I actually got the review code for that game. The review scores went live the day before. And to me, that was the best game. And it's not because I got a code. It's because the game is phenomenal. But it went live a day before the game released. So I've always used that. Like Sony sometimes, yes, they'll allow. I think God of War Ragnarok, maybe the scores went live like a week before. Sometimes you see kind of the confidence and you see scores come out 3, 4, 5 days before. I think it's more for leaks. I think it's more to hold in everything because of the social media age. And to be fair, like that is what Tom Henderson says, to avoid spoilers. So you could believe it or not, basically, right? Like if you want to believe it's solely to avoid spoilers, I don't know if that's the greatest excuse. There's plenty of single player, even shorter games that don't do this, okay? Now, although this game is maybe a 6 to 8 hour game, maybe you don't want the review scores to be out there for a week. I get that, but to have it come out the exact same time the game comes out, it's just not a good look. Whether it actually means the game is going to get reviewed poorly, right? That's kind of separate. It's just not a good look. So I would have preferred it to be, you know, a day before the scores went live. live, I'll look at the scores, but you know what? Actually, like normally I'll do a video, right? Like I normally do a video of like, hey, reviews are out for a game. Let's see what people are saying about the game. Why would I do it on Hellblade? In fact, I'm not going to do it on Hellblade because when the reviews go live, anybody that wants to can just play it. So there's really no point for me to even, honestly, as a content creator, there's no point for me to even like talk about or make a video on the review scores. And then me as a person, there's not any point for me to look at the review scores either because I'm just going to get the game as soon as I'm able to and play it literally right then and there. So I guess maybe in some ways it's beneficial to me, but in other ways, again, there are some people that go off of review scores. Like there are people that do that. So I think for them, you probably want to give it more than zero amount of time between the scores and the game itself. So let me know what you guys think in the comments. Make sure as always you're subscribed to the channel, bell icon turned on. I hope to see you all on the next one.